My name is Nifra. I'm from a company called BAT. Comrade Jeff spoke about the power of persuasion. Now, my question relates to the Deputy President about statements he made last week. Is he persuaded about policies such as the second transition? Thank you.
Well, it's putting me on the spot.
Yes.
My view is that in the as we have indicated in the policy discussion document, there are no holy cows. So people, members of the ANC, including leaders, have a right to reflect their own views on discussions. But at the end of the day, it will be the branches that decide on these matters. Insofar as the second transition is concerned, I think we need to internalize the fact that the next 50 or so years is about the economy in the main, is about social transformation. As what the SG has said, that the semantics about the usage of words is neither here nor there. It is the content of the second transition that we are talking about. Are we saying that we should not focus on improving the quality of lives of our people? Are we saying that we should let these commanding heights of the South African economy continue to be dominated by whites and males? The answer is no. Moving forward, I believe that the majority, not only of members, but of South Africans themselves, are ensuring that sooner rather than later, the issues of social transformation, the issues of economic transformation must be the key priority agenda, not only of the ANC, but those that are deployed in government.
Mr. Madashe, the organization has been very careful to say, let us not talk about the leadership race, let's focus on policy, but somehow it's seeming to come up time and time again. Is this not going to influence the way people debate policy when they're busy thinking, is it going to be Zuma, Sehwale, Motlanthe, who's it going to be?
No, the ANC has not said we must not talk about policy. It said branches of the ANC must continue assessing the performance of leaders. What we actually said should not happen is nomination prematurely. The danger of nomination quite early is that by nature, nomination are divisive and sometimes pull people, tear people aside. People begin to lobby for their candidates. We say delay that process. Let's focus on policy development so that when we go to the national conference in December, we must be able to do all the business intended for a conference. Policy development, looking into the constitution, and elect leadership. What people must always remember is that it is the culture of the ANC to hold regular conferences and regular elections. It's culture in the ANC. There's only one period where there were no regular elections. It was the period between 1960 and 1990. Even then, the Lobatse conference did pronounce that, listen, we're operating in condition of illegality. We are not going to be able to hold regular conference, regular elections. Hence, during that period, we only had the Morogoro and Kabe conferences. But once we came back after 1990, we went back to the tradition of the ANC of holding regular conference and regular elections. So there's nothing unique about election and contestation in the ANC. What is unique today is when you lobby for a candidate, trying to insult and be derogatory about the next candidate. But if you select a candidate, you go to a conference, you elect any candidate, it's not a big deal in the ANC.
Okay.
I just want to add to the SG that part of the problem with these so-called nominations prematurely is aimed at denying the branches of the ANC who are going to be the delegates at the conference in Mangaung. So even assuming that the ANC decides to open nominations now, on what basis? Because we still have to tackle the issues of policies, the issues of the challenges that face the organization, not to elect leaders. At the end of the day, when we've adopted these policies, then we should look amongst ourselves who can now take the ANC into the next level. So that's the matter of principle.
All right, let's go to table 6 before we go to our viewers. Table 6.
Sorry, good morning. My name is Lucky. My question relates to the number of people that rely on social grant, because every year that number seems to be rising. And that trend, in my opinion, is very much unsustainable. And that there will come a point where we're not going to be able to keep with those numbers, because there are more people relying on grants than people who are paying the taxes. And if it gets to that point, people are going to start to revolt against the government, and agent provocateurs are going to take advantage of the situation, and we may see another Tahrir Square in South Africa. So what policy proposals do we have as the ANC to reverse such a situation?
Yeah, I think the first thing is that we must resist the temptation of looking at social grants as bad and not see them as an intervention that is dealing with real poverty. That is the first thing we must do. Because sometimes there is a temptation to describe the social grants in the West ways as if it is a bad thing to do, to intervene, for the state to intervene where there is real poverty. That is the first thing. But what is important is that we can talk of the numbers, but those numbers are linked to what we have highlighted in many of our documents, that we must deal with unemployment, we must deal with poverty, we must deal with inequality. If we are not successful in dealing with those three preeminent problems facing society, the debate about social grants become academic. If you go to the rural areas where there was always life, if you go there today, land is lying fallow. Nobody works in the land, nobody is productive. People use the social grant. Actually, young people today believe that food comes from Pick and Pay and Shoprite takers. They don't know that it is coming from the soil. You must work and produce food, and you can actually alleviate the impact of poverty. And I think that is a combination of ensuring that we redirect resources to productive activity, and therefore reduce the question of dependency on social grants. But always appreciate that the elderly, the disabled will to a great extent depend on social grants. But if we're not productive, we are going to deepen the crisis, and social grant will be seen as a crisis point rather than as an intervention that deals with real challenges.
All right, let's go back to the studio. Leanne is there, and she's been receiving some texts and tweets from our viewers. Let's gauge what's on the minds of our viewers. Leanne?
All right, Peter, thank you very much. And also to our viewers at home, thanks so much for watching. The time now is 13 minutes past 8. And also remember, this is an extended broadcast of Morning Live. We're going on until 10 to 9 this morning. So you've still got lots of time to get your questions in. And Peter, I have got lots of questions. In fact, I had questions before the broadcast even started. And we had our two guests of honor address us. So let me just get one or two to you in the meantime. Here's one coming from Chepo saying, why in the ANC policy can one member occupy more than one job? Example, Moretele Mayor is also a ward councillor for Ward 28. So I think the question, we can keep it quite general. How can one member occupy more than two jobs? Another question is asking, this is from Emeka Nyowa, saying, how many delegates of the ANC Youth League vote in the Mangaung Conference? Do they have the highest number of votes? There's one of the questions. And then there seems to be a lot of issues around the Free State, and the Northwest also thrown in here. What is the ANC doing about divisions like we see in the Northwest, where PEC members were removed from their position? And then the Free State, that is a big issue. What is being done to try and alleviate the situation of what is happening in the Free State right now? I hope you managed to get all of those down, Peter. There's so many more when you do come back to us. But the one big thing as well that we have to do is also, for yesterday, wish Gwede Mantashe a very happy birthday, because I've got some tweets wishing you happy birthday, Mr. Mantashe. So we hope you had a great day. All right, Peter, if you need more questions, you know where to come.
Okay, Leanne, thank you very much indeed. So the viewers are wishing you a very happy birthday yesterday. Sort of slipped under the radar, but we've exposed you now on national television.
How old are you now?
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, give you